Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from Male Fledged TV. I am Peter, that is Connor, and yeah, we talk about DC TV shows, that's what we do. I usually do that at the start, don't I? I usually do that earlier on in the intro.
I think it is. I think I
Yeah,
think you missed it. Went straight into our names, and then came back around to that, and it sounded really underwhelming by that point.
yeah, usually I put our names before I explain what the show is.
Do you?
I think?
Maybe I think you do the you explain the show and then come back to our names. I don't know.
I don't know. What a weird start to the episode. This is yeah, we talk about DC TV shows, and it is the off season, which means in this episode we are discussing and reviewing an episode of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, an episode of Smallville, and 2 episodes of Young Justice. So that is the review schedule for the episode. That is what we've been doing all summer, and I am so ready for the shows to come back so I don't have to watch Smallville anymore, please. Thank you. Get to it. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, and there's a giant plane flying. I don't know if you can hear that in the recording, but I can hear a plane flying overhead, and it's very distracting. But we do have some news this week. There's actually quite a bit of news for the various DC TV shows.
More than I realised.
Yes,
Clearly.
more than you realised. We'll start with the big one, the big heavy hitter. I think is the headline here is that Batwoman has been cast. So not only for the crossover, but for the potential Batwoman TV show as well, should it be ordered to series. Ruby Rose has been cast as Batwoman, and she popped up in John Wick 2 and some other things.
Pitch Perfect 3.
Pitch Perfect 3, there you go. I've not seen that. I actually, once I read John Wick 2, I thought about it and went, oh wait, no, I think I do remember her in that. I think I remember her. She was like an assassin lady, right?
I don't really remember in that one, to be honest. But it's been a while. It's been a while. So.
Yeah, she had like a long hair at the front, which came down over her face. I'm sure. Or
I'll tell you word for it.
Long hair. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it long, but the point being is that I mean, I can't remember enough to even have any opinion on her acting ability. I will say she looks tough, which is one of the requirements I would give for Batwoman.
Yeah, definitely.
Batwoman should look tough. Beyond that, I don't know. Need to dye her hair red. I mean, that's going to happen.
It's not a big deal though, is it?
I mean, I guess they don't need to though, because I mean, the long hair when she's in the suit is a wig anyway, so they could just have it just be different coloured hair when she's normal.
They could, yeah.
It wouldn't really affect anything if they did that.
Also, because she does have the short hair anyway, right? So
yeah.
that would work nicely. Just leave it as it is.
If anything, it would help with the disguise because the hair's a different colour.
Yeah. It
So
probably would. Why confuse people?
exactly. So no, I mean, yeah, it seems like a decent choice. Again, I have no opinion on her acting ability, but looks tough, looks the part. So
Yeah, no, I liked her one of Pitch Perfect 3. She was like one of the rival groups. She was good enough in that.
So yeah, there you go. And speaking of Batwoman, they did confirm here. Mark Pedowitz was talking about the Batwoman show and confirmed that Greg Berlanti is developing a Batwoman TV show for the network, which will receive a pilot in the 2018 to 2019 mid-season. I'm very confused by what he means by that, because does he just mean he's getting a pilot this season? If so, why specify mid-season?
Yeah, that is weird because
to me, if you're going to specify mid-season for the 2018 to 2019 season, I would assume that means it could potentially launch in the mid-season of that season.
that's what I would think. Because usually they say, "Oh, we've ordered a pilot." You could say, "Oh, the pilot will be shooting January, February, whatever."
Yeah.
And then it'll be picked up for next season, in October 2019.
Yeah, but then he goes on to say, well, our quotes here is that it's in the very early stages of development. But if it's in the very early stages of development, I don't buy they're going to have a pilot ready so that they can have a whole show starting in like even by March.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think it just means there's going to be a pilot in the mid-season. It's just weird wording.
Yeah, I think to me what this is saying is they're not shooting the pilot until after
Yes.
the crossover.
That's what I think it means.
But I think he murkied it up a little there.
Yeah, it's just murky language. Because I read the headline saying, "Oh, Batwoman confirmed for mid-season," and I went, "Oh, that's big news." And then I read it and I went, "Oh, wait a minute."
I'm not sure.
This reads a
We'll
bit
wait and
fishier.
see if we get anything more definitive.
Yeah, so I would guess that means the pilot's just going to happen after Christmas, and then we'll get the show either in the fall next year if they greenlight it, or maybe even mid-season the following year.
I think work on that assumption until we hear otherwise.
Yes. Unless they're going to like steamroll through it and get a pilot done before Christmas.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but we are in August now. I mean, the further we get along,
they got to get cracking if they want that for March.
Yeah. So that was that. So we got the Batwoman casting and the confusing news about that. I have some more casting though. Spin has been cast for the Flash. Actress Kiana Madeira has been cast for Spin. Spin is portrayed in the comic books. Spin is portrayed as a man known only as Mr. Auerbach, a media mogul with a villainous dark side. Madeira's Spin is described as a young, aspiring social media influencer. She does Twitter. She does Twitter and Instagram.
Hey, it's a real job these days, apparently.
I've not read this. I'm reading this like live for the first time as we're recording this. I had no idea what this was going to say, and I'm just laughing that it went from media mogul to she does the Twitters and the Instagrams. She uses the opportunity to make herself famous when she discovers there is a new hero in Central City. She will debut in The Flash in episode 4 of season 5. So
cool.
There you go. And speaking of The Flash, actually, before we move on to other casting, there was a leaked photograph this week of a new suit, which we've both had a look at. And I do want to point out before we start talking about it, I want to preface this with Grant Gustin actually put like a message about this suit, this photo, saying that he didn't know the photo was being taken. It was not authorized. It is a true leak, so it's not finished, necessarily being developed or whatever, or being lit, whatever way you want to put it. And on top of that, he really spoke out against, a lot of people were kind of body shaming him over the new suit, saying that he was too skinny, things like that. Not cool, alright? I just want to put that out there before we give opinions on the suit itself, based on this photo, which again is a leak set photo. Those aren't always very indicative of how it's going to look in the final thing. Now, sometimes you get your Starfire from Titans, which ends up looking as bad as it looked the first time you saw it. But then there's other times where, if you go back to the first Amazing Spider-Man, the first time we saw that suit in a set photo, it looked like garbage. Then the movie, it looks fine. It looks like a fine suit.
Yeah, say what you want about the movie, but you can't really criticize the suit.
So, I will say, here's what I like about it. I like the material change. It's not the leather anymore. There's more of a fabric to it.
There is, yes.
And I dig that a lot. To me, that's what the Flash suit should be like, is that sort of fabric.
I think it's funny, people have said, he looks skinnier, right? I think it's just a case of you're so used to seeing him in quite a bulky suit. That Flash suit that we've had for the last 4 seasons has been pretty bulky, right?
I don't know if I'd describe it as bulky.
Oh, I think it is. I think it's quite padded and bulky whenever I see it. I've always thought that. Every iteration of the suit, it looks like he's got shoulder pads on a lot of the time.
Oh, no, I'll accept shoulder pads, but I don't think it's bulky in general, though.
No, fair enough. I always say it feels quite thick.
The other notable thing is that the chin guard is missing. It's more like the classic Flash outfit, and the chin's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not actually sure how I feel about this one.
I actually like the idea of the chin being gone, but the problem is that because of the cowl, his head does look far too big compared to the rest of the suit.
It's the top half of his head where the cowl looks big because it's got this extra material, adding onto it.
Yes.
Which does look like a firmer material, rather than the fabric.
They should slim that down, I think, if they want to really nail this. I do appreciate the bright color. I appreciate the new fabric. I actually like that they're at least trying to go without the chin. I mean, hell, if they've got yellow boots.
Yeah, the picture doesn't go down that far. There's no gold trim anymore that we've seen around the outfit, which I actually quite like the gold trim on the TV version. I think it gives it some definition. So a bit, the suit might not even be finished yet from what we've seen, so maybe they've still to add that on.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even know we're getting a new suit. This was just out of nowhere. Because I actually saw Grant Gustin's post about this
before you saw the suit. Yeah, me too.
I was like, "What's the suit? What are we talking about? New suit?" So I went hunting for the image, and sure enough. Speaking of casting, though, we got a cyborg cast for Doom Patrol, not for Titans, for Doom Patrol. Very notable. The first Purge actor, Jovian Wade has been cast as Cyborg in Doom Patrol. And of course, Ray Fisher played him in the Justice League movie. So interesting, we're going to have, two cyborgs. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get the movie Cyborg again, but
well, it's nice just to see Warner loosening up a little, right?
yeah, I do think it's weird though that it doesn't matter what the team is. Whenever they say, "Hey, this is too white. We need a black character," it's always Cyborg. When there's several other characters they could be using.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
It's just a little bit strange. I don't know. Like, I don't know. What about Steel? What about, John Stewart? What about, take your pick.
Yeah, I think it depends what you're doing. Obviously, this is Doom Patrol. I think Steel probably could work. John Stewart, I think, doesn't really fit.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, in this case, sure. But...
yeah, Black Lightning's already taken for his own show, so you don't want to go that far, right? I mean, Cyborg's fine; it's a side character in a movie, but I don't think you want to throw in one from another show like that just yet.
Sure, I don't know. It's weird to me because even his inclusion in Justice League already feels like that when it's like no, but he feels like he belongs in the Teen Titans. He's always been part of the Teen Titans. Why does he move out of Justice League when every single one else on the Titans is still a Titan?
I think the particularly odd thing about that, particularly in relation to the Justice League, is he's replacing Martian Manhunter, who in film and TV media has always been portrayed as a black man anyway.
Yeah, and there's no Green Lantern, and arguably the most famous, more mainstream lineup of the Justice League has John Stewart as the Green Lantern from the animated series.
Yeah, thanks to the animated series, definitely. Who's
also black. So I don't know. It's just strange. I think it comes down to Jeff Johns liking him a lot. Although I don't know if that is why he's in Doom Patrol, but he is involved in this in some capacity. So maybe it's still him.
Yeah, I think Jeff Johns was pretty pivotal in the construction of this show still. Titans and Doom Patrol, I think he was pretty hands-on.
Which is baffling because the Titans looks like absolute garbage.
I don't know how John's okayed that.
Joe, it's funny actually.
He sounds passionate about it, and I don't understand.
I'd completely forgotten about it, and then I watched Red Letter Media's did like a Comic-Con trailer half in the bag episode, and I'd almost like wiped it from my mind, and then the very opening of it had the Batman audio clip in the intro, and I just started laughing immediately. And I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot about this! Oh no,
it's so bad. I can't. I can't believe we're gonna have to watch it."
Oh, we are. It's happening. And also, I thought just one last little tidbit here in the news. I thought it's worth mentioning that at the Black Lightning panel at Comic-Con, they did actually mention that there may be some kind of Outsiders action in season 2.
Yeah, cool. Wonder what sort of lineup we're going to get.
Now, of course, typically Batman starts the Outsiders, but given that Black Lightning is one of the main members, and we've already introduced Grace Choi, who's a typical member as well, as is Thunder, I think sometimes actually. It makes sense that we can do it without Batman in this show.
Oh, we can absolutely. I'm just intrigued as to who the rest of the lineup is.
Yeah. I was curious to see. We'll see. Well, maybe we'll get some fun additions.
The fun of the Outsiders is you don't have to have you have to have all these names, or it's not really the Outsiders, because kind of the point of that team is okay. Who can we throw together? Yeah,
they've confirmed that Grace Choi is coming back.
Good, because it was really weird how she just vanished.
We'll be seeing more of Vanessa's love life. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, it was a Comic-Con panel. They were talking about various things, but I thought mentioning the Outsiders would be a thing. Would be worth.
Yeah. It passed me by entirely.
So no, cool. Cool. So that's the news, which means we will swiftly move on to Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Season 1, Episode 17. I had to find it there. It's called The Rival. I was on the season page. I didn't click on the episode yet, so I was having to scroll down and find the episode.
For shame.
I know. It's called The Rival. Obviously, spoilers for each episode as we talk about them. So I kind of loved this episode.
This was so much fun.
So the Metropolis Star, the rival newspaper, which is a nice callback actually to because it used to be the Star, but way back before the Daily Planet was invented. If you go back to the Golden Age Superman stories, he worked at a paper called the Star, and they're outselling the Daily Planet. And Perry's, like, oh, what do we need to do? They keep scooping us and everything.
Yeah, and some new guys come in, taking charge, and pumping loads of money into it, and really turn the image of the paper around.
Yep. played by Dean Stockwell, who people will know from Battlestar Galactica. He's also in one of my favorite movies of all time called Paris, Texas. He's a big actor. He's been. Tons of people know him from Quantum Leap. I believe he was a regular on that.
All right.
I think he was. I'm going to double check that now. I've said it just so I don't sound like a fool.
I mean, it might well be. I never watched Quantum Leap. I'm familiar with it, but you know.
Oh, he's on Quantum Leap. Yeah, he's one of the main characters. So it was nice to see him. I do think his character's the worst part about this episode, just because it's so mustache twirling, ridiculous goals, evil villain man.
Yeah, but everything with Lois Clark and the rival.
Yes, with what was her name? Linda King. So it turns out that the head reporter that's doing all this scooping for the other paper is Lois's rival from high school, and Lois gets so jealous and so like high strung about everything when she's involved that everything Terry Hatcher does in this episode was gold. I was laughing constantly from the scene where Lois is with Clark in the lobby of the Daily Planet, and she comes up to talk to him, and Lois makes a quick excuse and leaves, but she goes in the revolving door and comes right back round, and then picks up a magazine, and she's like hiding behind the magazine, and she's trying to like see what her and Clark are talking about. She's like, oh, what's going on? And of course Linda like knows she's there, and she says, bye Lois, as she walks past, and she's like, Clark, what did you talk about? What was that about? Go on, tell me right now. Because obviously over the course she gets worried that Clark's into her, and that Clark's starting a romantic relationship with her. My favourite scene, it might have been, so later on in the episode, Clark actually suspecting there's foul play, that all these disasters that they keep getting scooped on. There's like an elevator like falls down, there's a fire in a building, all these various things. It gets suspicious, and it looks like someone's intentionally doing this, and he starts to suspect that the other newspaper themselves are actually causing the disasters, and that's why Linda's always there. Yeah, she's always right there just as it happens. And he quits the Daily Planet, and he goes to work for the Daily Star. He convinces them that he's wanting to like jump ship, and Lois going to Perry. He's like, Clark's left. He's a turncoat. He's like, oh no, he tried to give me his notice. I said he's free to leave, and he's very
very mellow, isn't he?
Blasé about the whole thing. Lois goes over to Clark's. This is my favorite scene, right? Lois goes over to Clark's apartment, and she's like, you can run, but you can't hide. And she notices there's like 2 coffee mugs on the table in Clark's apartment, and she's like, she's here, isn't she? That's what it is. She's here. Where is she? Where are you, Linda? Come out, wherever you are. It's when she goes into the bedroom, it's like, is she under the bed? And then she just jumps up on the bed and says, are you under the bed? And starts stomping about madly on the bed. That broke me. Every little snide remark or comment Lois made in this episode about her being a bottom feeder, about her being like an evil she-wench, about her, whatever it was. Every time it was making me laugh.
They were all good, but my biggest laugh came from Perry early on, I have to be honest.
But it wasn't when she's looking for Linda and then opens the closet door and Perry's just standing there eating a cracker.
Also very good, but no, not that.
No, okay.
No, my biggest laugh for me was early on where Perry's gathered them all together and telling them what's going on with the situation with the Star. Mm-hmm. And he's like, come on, look, what's our front page? And it's just this weather thing.
It's a graph. It's a pie chart.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't understand. Yeah, Jimmy starts explaining the graph because he's an idiot.
Yes.
And then someone's like, no, there's a fire. And Perry just goes, yes! And just fist pumps and celebrates at the fact that there's this fire.
You're mixing up 2 scenes, actually. The graph came later.
Was the graph later?
Yeah, because that scene, he was just like complaining in general, and the fire came up.
You're right. The fire.
And he sent off, Clark and Lois, and he was all excited. Later on, they're still in the shit. This is after they've been scripted again.
It's because they've got Superman on the front page, isn't it?
They've got Superman on the front page. He's explaining this graph and stuff, and Jimmy's like kind of explaining it, almost intentionally to piss him off. And then he's like, because why don't you ask the Star, Lois? They know everything. Don't ask me. And it cuts to Jimmy. He's like, I bet I don't know how much rain we had last year.
This was such a funny episode.
It was good. Yeah, I was laughing constantly. Like, there was no cat, there was no Lex. This one.
Yeah. Just Perry being so excited about a woman being trapped by a fire just killed me.
That was great. Lois realizing they were colluding, and because she's like, "Oh, I've went through all these feelings for nothing," and Clark's like, "What feelings? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not feeling them anymore. So that's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do about this." And then they go and break into his office. They end up bringing Linda in on it. And Lois is actually one of my other favourite laughs of the whole thing is when I think they're in the office and they're looking up his computer. You know, and they crack his. They're just lucky to guess his password quite quickly. It's like, oh, he's a Citizen Kane fan. Oh, Rosebud. Oh, there you go. But they find out the stuff. Oh right, okay, so this senator's going to be assassinated, but it's not happened yet. But he's already wrote the article, which is okay, right, we've got him. He's like, oh, but if he starts to suspect Linda, he'll kill her too. And he walks away, and Lois just sits at the computer and just grins, and he's like, Lois, oh, I'm okay, I'm coming. I was only kidding.
Yep, also very funny.
Everything about Lois hating Linda was the best.
This might be my favorite episode so far.
It may be mine. And the villains, like, I mean, I love Dean Stockwell. It's not his fault. He's got some of the worst dialogue ever from this show, where he's basically like, just, so what's your goal next to be president? Like, oh, I might be president for a while, but my goal is
that's just a stepping stone.
Yeah, my goal is to create an international government, a government to govern governments. You know,
a
like
federation,
the UN, but with teeth. It. Yes. Yeah. And of course I'll run this, and then, but the other thing that really got me is when he's talking to his henchman, and he mentions that, once the Daily Planet goes under, we'll control 80% of what the American public read, and once you control what they read, you can control what they think and what they do, and then from there the possibilities are endless. And it was so cheesy and like
it goes on too long. Stop.
Well,
you can control what they think. You control what they read, control what they think, and then do.
Yeah.
Stop there.
But no, he stands up and like almost looks right at the camera as he continues his monologue about how evil his plans are.
I'm sorry, we haven't. It's just clicked into place. We didn't speak about the opening.
Oh, the basketball opening?
Yeah.
Was it Bo? Bo knows this?
Yeah, Bo.
Or Mo? Was it Mo or Bo?
No, it was definitely Bo.
Now, to be fair, so this show's had a couple of these really random openings where it's just a little skit, and it is kind of weird how in this one he's playing basketball with this guy, presumably an actual famous NBA player.
I would assume so. Yeah. We're clearly unfamiliar though, because
But but he's actually just in like gym gear, but he's not got his glasses on. And I get that this is just a little comedy skit, but at least pretend that he's still acting as if he's not got a secret identity in the scene.
He basically flies at the end.
Yeah, I guess you just argue it's out of continuity. It's fine. It's like an out of show little moment. And I suppose if he doesn't know who this is, it's just Superman in sweatpants, right? That's what he's thinking, I guess.
But Bo can't do that.
But Bo can't do that. But to be fair to this one, this actually connects to the main episode slightly, in a small way by the end, because when he saves the senator who's going to be assassinated, he jumps in and he stops the bullet, and then like other assassins like fire more bullets. He scrunches up all the bullets into a ball, and then does a little shot into the wastebasket, and it's like a little basketball shot he makes, and it lands. And I was like, that actually kind of related the opening scene to the episode. He used his basketball skills to put the bullets away.
Bo taught him something.
And I laugh because our episode of Smallville this week also had basketball shots involved. I just thought it was weird. There's a weird link between the two episodes.
It was.
We had basketball.
This was just such. This might be the strangest of these opening scenes yet.
I don't know, the recycling commercial.
No, but at least I get what that one was.
Okay, sure.
Okay, that was clearly a
Oh no, wait a minute. This is the exact same as the golf one, where the pro golfers giving him advice.
No, it is, but okay, but you had other people there in that one. He was still Clark. There was context. It kind of felt like, okay, they're just out at the driving range. Whereas this, he was just out at the basketball court, just like that, and then hey. This guy comes like, hey, I'll play with you.
Do you remember that one where he was playing baseball with himself and he was doing all the parts himself? He wasn't wearing glasses in that. So there's actually this like opening scene continuity where he goes out and plays sports in this exact outfit without his glasses. Because he did baseball the same way.
He did.
But he did that on his own. Because he's fast enough he can play all the roles. He just runs around. He hits the ball and then runs to catch it.
Yeah, but see, I can appreciate the fun of that, of going, hey, look, he's doing it all, right? This one just feels so surreal.
Guest star for the celebrity. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Without it infecting the episode, it's just a little thing on its own.
I have to assume they air these separately as short little things.
Oh, I don't think so. This is the open for the episode because the music starts right after this.
No, it does as well, but I assume they were cut separately as well. That they aired. I'm sure they
Oh
were aired
right.
with the episode, but I think they probably aired them as like promotional material.
Oh sure, yeah, they were aired as well somewhere,
Yes.
someplace else, but yeah, no, I'm sure they still aired with the episode
Oh
though.
yeah,
Just
of course. No, no, absolutely. I just meant as well. I
yeah,
feel like they were produced with the other intention in mind, and then go, oh, we'll throw them on the start of episodes.
yeah. So yeah, no, that's always gold. Lois being paranoid that she was stealing Superman from her, stealing Clark from her. Just just the little moments as well. Like there's so many little facial expressions that Terry Hatcher does in the way she phrases things. Like there's a scene where she's like trying to get her bracelet out the garbage in the bathroom,
Mm.
and Linda comes in and says, "Oh, you're looking for your career," and just the way Lois like puts her head up and looks like she wants to kill her, just in that moment,
Yeah.
it's like perfect,
No,
absolutely
this
perfect.
this was just such a fun episode. I wasn't expecting it to be this funny.
No, it was really good. Oh, it's Bo. It's Bo Jackson.
There we go.
I just
Never heard
I,
of him.
I've just noticed his name on here. You know what? I'm gonna click in his name
That
here.
being said, I don't know how many NBA players I could actually list.
Michael Jordan,
Yep,
LeBron James.
yep,
I'm out.
yeah, me too.
I'm out. Bo Jackson, former baseball and
An
American
American
football
football.
player. What?
So it wasn't even a basketball. What?
He wasn't even a basketball player. What sort of nonsense
What?
is this? He
What?
played two different sports. He was professional at two different sports, and neither one of them was basketball.
The- I, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Actually, do you know what I like the idea about now? I like the idea that he showed up and like, hey, we're going to do a scene today on Lois and Clark, so we're going to do like a sports scene, and he's like, you know what? I want to do basketball, and then they all looked around him at set like, what basketball? You don't play basketball though. I was like, I don't care. I want to do a basketball scene. And I was like, okay, he's a celebrity. Do what he wants. We'll do a basketball scene.
this, this baffles me even more now.
Yeah, Bo knows is a thing though. Hang on. He became a popular figure with multiple sports through the 80s and 90s. He endorsed Nike and was involved in a popular ad campaign called Bonos, which envisioned Jackson attempting to take up a litany of other sports, including tennis, golf, auto racing, and even playing blues music with Bo Diddley. So this was part of that advertising campaign.
It was, although I'm just saying now that apparently that advertising campaign was from Nike, although I don't recall any Nike placement
Maybe it wasn't
in that.
officially a part of the campaign. Maybe it was just like
They were,
that.
they were just
Yeah, it's
riffing
kind of like
on
how
it.
people were doing Got Milk jokes after Got Milk became a thing.
Yeah,
So, okay, that explains why it wasn't his sport.
it does. We're
Okay,
getting to the bottom of this.
we got to the bottom of it. We figured this out. This was important stuff.
I'm just because I was baffled here.
Back to a Lois moment I liked a lot is after the elevator shenanigans. She's all upset, and he's like, "Hey, Lois, here's something that'll cheer you up." And he pulls out this elevator card, and he's explaining that it's not Fred. And she's like, "Well, I'm not happy yet, but I'm verging on board." And he's like, "No, it's not Fred. It's been cut, Lois. The accident wasn't an accident." She's like, "It wasn't an accident, yes." And then the very next thing she says, like, "I can finally scoop that bitch." Wasn't that exact word,
It's
but
like,
that was the point.
she's like, "Do you mean we?" She says, "I said we.
Yes,
I
we.
said we the whole time."
Yeah, yeah. We're partners, Clark. Yeah. Uh, so good. Oh, this was a fun episode.
Oh yeah, it was, really was.
Of course, Superman comes and saves him at the end when the bad guy catches him
Ah,
snooping
but who
around.
cares about any of
Yeah,
that stuff,
you
right?
know, that's what it is. And she goes off. She's getting like a movie deal based on her book about the whole incident where she was working for this corrupt
And
newspaper man.
yeah, yeah. And she's like, "Oh, she's playing a minor part."
It's like, which part are you playing? I'll do you justice, Lois. She's not happy.
No, she is not. She's not happy because she got a credit in the story.
Yep, yep.
She talked Perry into it apparently.
Everything about it. It's gold. It's so gold. But hey, no, I highly recommend The Rival as an episode. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best episode in terms of plot or in terms of like good Superman story, but it might be the most fun I've had so far.
Yeah, there are like when you're going through, okay, these are the episodes from season one. You got to include, the Kryptonite episode, the Krypton episode last week. Oh, all those ones, and then a bit of flavor for the show. This is definitely one you put in there.
Oh yeah,
Here's one to enjoy.
This one, Honeymoon in Metropolis, would be another one I'd put in there in a similar vein, right up there. Gold, absolute gold. So hey,
it is. And that sort of stuff where it's not the Superman stuff. That's what you remember from the episode. That's what I always remembered about the show. From when I watched it as a kid. It was these sorts of episodes, these sorts of interactions that kind of stuck with me as to why I liked it.
Yeah, but what I love about it though is it does the whole thing with, it doesn't betray the character. Like this does feel like a Lois thing. It feels Lois.
Absolutely. Yeah, her being jealous over a rival. Absolutely.
It feels Lois. It feels Perry feels like he's Perry. It does all this stuff in character for those characters, which I think is why it really works for us, even if the Superman stuff isn't always the highlight of the show.
But it is quite impressive that they managed to do that, because most times you want to take this and put them into the office setting, right? Then you end up with these warped versions, but this isn't that at all.
But I guess that'll take us on to Smallville.
We will be notably less enthusiastic on this one.
Shatesville, as I'm now calling it. This is episode 16 of season 1. It's called Stray. This is the one where there's a kid with telepathy, and he's shithole stepdad and his girlfriend making him, like the example we get at the start is they make him like get a safe code from this pawn shop guy, and then this is the first thing I'll say about this episode is I felt that they were more brutal than normal with the villain. Like I felt like he was just gunning people down left and right.
Yeah, no, sure.
It felt dark. I know we've had villains that kill people before, but there's something about it just being a gunshot that makes it feel a bit more real, and therefore a bit more hard hitting.
I think it's because as well, this is such a normal guy, right? The villain. He's not like some superpower. He's not a meta freak or anything like that.
Yeah, he's just an awful person, and that makes it feel a bit more real. And I'm not saying it's like a great effective villain. I mean, it's just the couple of moments where he just guns someone down as if it's nothing.
Worked, yeah.
Yeah, it felt a bit more hard hitting as opposed to oh, fat Amy Adams sucked the life out of someone.
It's true, yeah. Joy is particularly amusing to me about this episode because this is, I think, the third time I've seen this episode now. So I think I've seen it. You just caught it on TV at some point, and every time I forget it's telepathy. At first, when he's listening in, the kid's in the shop, and he's like, he sends the guy to the safe, and he's listening to his thoughts to go.
He's super hearing instead of
every time I go super hearing, and I don't know why, but it's just the way it's played in that scene.
No, I thought that as well. It's just in that scene, it sounds like he's listening to the clicks.
It does, yeah.
Because they emphasise the sound of the clicking as it's turning. So
it does.
But it turns out to be telepathy, and he's reading people's minds. He actually just runs away from his stepdad. When he sees him kill the guy, he's like, oh no, screw this, and he runs for it, and he ends up just running into Martha's car, and she takes him to the hospital. How many episodes have we started with someone just like stumbling into one of the Kents, and that's how we connect them to the main plot?
I'd say at least half.
Yeah. So child services is going to take a weekend or whatever to get to him, so they have to take him home for a few days. And Clark bonds with them. He's making, the kid's making pancakes and shit. He's surprised to learn that he cannot read Clark's mind. Clark is immune from it, and he likes that. It's like, he's quiet. And then we get to the Warrior Angel comic. It's an alien visit from another planet. Lex loves this. He's like, he's an inspiration. He's also bald, so I mean, stands for me.
I can't fault the logic, right?
I would. Sure.
I mean, look, okay, put it this way. How many bald heroes are there in comics?
I don't know about in comics, but Terry Crews counts.
I'm not going to argue that.
Terry Crews counts. I guess. I guess most you don't get a lot of kids who are bald, so I guess most kids aren't in the position where they have to look up to a bald person when they're.
No, it's true, but I get Lex. He was we saw him with hair, and then he had an incident, and then he was bald. I imagine that's quite traumatic for a kid, right? To be bald all of a sudden.
Oh sure.
So I get why. Okay, there's a hero that's bald. Sure, I'll look up to him. Works for me.
But. Yeah, so it was just a bit on the nose for me, the whole Warrior Angel thing. It was just too Superman.
No, it is a bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Because when I first saw the comic, I just thought, oh, it'll be just a random comic, and it'll
yeah.
be a nice little reference. I was trying to catch what it was, and I couldn't see it at first.
And then
And
there
then
was
it
lots of
was,
dialogue explaining to you exactly what it was.
I was like, oh yeah, this.
Yes. So Clark shows him around. He meets Lana, and I mean, this is the thing. The kid keeps saying, "Hey, do you want to know what Lana?" Because obviously, eventually, it comes out that he's got telepathy, and it comes out that he learns from the other characters as well as seeing Clark in action that Clark has got superpowers and he's an alien and so on. And and multiple times throughout the episode, he's like, "Hey, do you want to know what Lana thinks about you?" And Clark, as a gentleman's like, "No, no, I'll learn the old-fashioned way." But the final way he phrases it at the end is like, "Are you sure you don't want to know how Lana feels about you?" He's like, "No, I'll find out myself." I'm like, even just saying, "Do you want to know how Lana feels about you?" implies that she has feelings of some kind.
It does, yeah.
Like, I feel like once he says that, it's like, well, clearly she has feelings for him.
No, you're right, because every other time it was phrased, it was, do you want to know what Lana's secret is?
Yes, yes, and that's fine. That's secretive enough that.
Yeah, everyone has a secret.
Yes, because it's not specific to him. But by the end, it's like, "Oh, do you sure you don't want to know what she feels about you?" And I'm like, well, clearly that's just a secret then. She's got a crush on Clark.
Yeah.
Done. Fine. Easy. But Clark's playing dumb.
Kid's a bit of a dick, really, isn't he?
He is. Honestly, I mean, it's not the worst episode of Smallville, but my biggest problem with it is that the kid is really one note. I feel like every scene with him plays the exact same way.
Yeah. Do you know what really bothers me as well is
Mm-hmm.
it's Trevor. Okay, he's the innocent kid, and Clark sees him as the little brother, but he's kind of a dick just going around listening to people's thoughts, hearing their secrets, just because he can. He has no privacy boundaries.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
And no, he doesn't really get called out on that, not that much. They kind of it gets mentioned, but it doesn't really feel like he's learnt a lesson at the end. Because at the end, the woman comes to pick him up, and he's still there listening.
Yeah, I mean, even if he just said, "Oh, you can't turn it off," I'd be okay, fine.
Yeah,
He stuck with it, fine.
And the problem is he goes out of his way to ask questions.
He does.
Where
He does it all
they'll,
the time.
They'll think of the answer that he wants.
There's actually a few scenes where he literally just feels like he's gotten bored, so he just asks things like, "What's your biggest fear?" Just so he'll think the answer, and he'll go, "Oh, that's juicy."
Yeah, he's kind of a little dick.
That's how it feels. Yeah, no, it does. But like I say, the bad guy is pretty bad, and he's outright shooting like random civilians as he's hunting the kid at the end, in a bowling alley.
He's got to shoot the new girlfriend.
Yeah, in fact, I thought it was funny. It was in a bowling alley at the end. All I could think is that in the script it just said like empty building, and someone said, "Hey, we can get a bowling alley for an episode." It's like, "Oh, hey, I'll rewrite the ending of this one so it's in a bowling alley," because it's just random. It doesn't need to be a bowling alley. It could be anywhere.
I guess it was nearby and it was cheap for the night.
Yeah, other than the fact, of course, it ends with Clark throwing the bowling ball at him.
Obviously, yeah.
With super speed, but the reason why I bring up the villain feeling like more menacing because it is just straight up gunshots. I don't know if that's just because we're in a world now post so many mass shootings where it just feels a bit more like real. Not just like something that happens in movies anymore where yeah, that doesn't happen in real life.
No, sure. I think
even though it did,
it's something
it always
that
did, but
a lot of media with 80s and 90s spring to mind of gun shooting at kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
In kids shows and films.
Yeah, we don't do it as much now anymore.
You don't anymore, not really.
And it makes sense
with good reason, yeah.
But I think because he felt more sinister, there was actually almost some genuine like. I mean, I knew he was going to save the day, but there was almost a little bit of genuine tension as Clark's speeding up to like save the day. It was like, oh no, he needs to get there because he's going to shoot the kid.
Yeah, I think it's the reality factor where
where
someone's there with ice powers. It's like, okay, sure, there's that that disconnect. Whereas, this is just an awful person with a gun. This could be anyone.
Yeah, this just feels real. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I guess it's kind of effective because of that. So
refreshing change of pace.
Points, I guess. At one point, he hides in a dumpster and then almost gets crushed inside the truck.
And Clark has to rip the back of the truck off.
I do want to point out how much I hated they play it as because he's in the dark truck and there's like a ripped hole in the metal that it looks really bright outside because of the difference. And to a point that would to an extent that would be true. But they downright light it as if he's an angel. The bright white light around his head. It's like he's an angel come to save you, little boy.
No, they do, and I think if I was going to argue on its defense, I'd say we're seeing it from the kid's perspective. It's all heightened, and it's what he wants to see.
Still, his vomit in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
I'm just saying. Lionel wants Lex to come back to Metropolis, and he considers it, and then says, "No, what? No, I'm doing well here, and that bothers you. So I'm going to continue to do well."
Lex gives Clark. My God, I can't really. I struggled so hard with that. He gives him a sword.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah. Sorry, I really struggled to say those three words.
I have nothing to add to this, but yes, he does give him a sword.
He gives him a sword. He's like, oh, it's a sword. He's like, no, it's a foil, because every hero needs one.
Yes.
Like, very good.
Yeah, it's all very on the nose. And of course, the kid's like, "Oh, Lex has got a really dark side to him. You should be careful around him." And I'm like, oh, "This is fine." Again, this is one of the problems I've spoken about in a few episodes, where this would be fine if Lex was going to be a villain by the end of the season, or even end of season 2. But it's like seasons and seasons.
I think my biggest problem with this is Clark already knows Lex has a dark side, and that Lex was an awful person. But he's like, yeah, he was, but he's better. But he's a better person now, right? That's kind of meant to have been Lex's journey.
I think my bigger problem with it is that we know that he ultimately does become a villain. I think this, like, what Clark's response to is like, "No, I like to believe in the best in people," which is a very Superman thing to say. It's what he should say.
Yeah.
I think it'd actually be way more effective if it was someone that we genuinely didn't know. Are they going to be a good person or a bad person?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it'd have more like weight in, like, okay, we want to believe because Clark believes, and then maybe that person would turn out to be good. But because it's Lex, like, no, he's going to be the criminal mastermind. We know he's screwed. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chloe wants Clark to ask her to the dance, and the little brat tells him this, and then he brings it up awkwardly later, and she's
then
like,
doesn't ask her right there.
Yeah,
that doesn't make it awkward.
And she's all awkward, and he's like, "Tell me it's not pink." Because he knows the colour as well. And he's like, "Well, I was just looking at it. I wasn't going to buy it." And then not only does he not ask her in the scene, which makes it feel really awkward. Later on, she comes by the barn, and this is when he's like, "Oh yeah, Lex is thinking of leaving to go to Metropolis." And Chloe really awkwardly says, "Well, I'm not going anywhere. You've got me, Clark." And she does this big smile, and he kind of smiles back, but it's like the moment passes, and she's still standing there waiting for like some more like compliments or whatever, and she just kind of awkwardly goes sad and goes, "Well, I was thinking of asking this guy to the prom," and then Clark just keeps kind of ignoring her, and I'm like, you know what? If the actress didn't turn out to be a complete slaving sex pervert in later life, I might feel really bad during this scene for Chloe and think Clark was a dick.
I mean, he still is.
I mean, he still is, but
here's the thing: he is under no obligation to ask her to the prom. Don't get me wrong. Address it. Be like, hey, look. We know, this has come up. I know you wanted me to, but I'm not going to. Sorry.
I do like. I like when the kids are like, "Oh, I'm in love," and the camera like pans over to Lana, and then Clark's just like, "Join the club." Like, he doesn't get jealous or mad. Like, stay away from her. He's just like, "Join the club, kid."
Yeah. To be fair, he's already competing with Whitney. I don't think he sees the kid as a competition.
Maybe not now, but in like 5 years.
Yeah, maybe.
In 5 years, when Lana wants some young hunk, she's in her mid-20s, and he's like 19, 18.
Mm.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what I'm going with this. As for the topic of the prom, though, with Chloe, I feel like, you know what? Ask him. Do it.
Yeah.
Grab life by the balls. And ask him.
Especially if she says she's going to ask someone else. So it's like, well, I mean, you might as well, right?
I mean, she's just saying that to try and provoke a.
No, she is, but you've established that you're willing to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just ask him, and then he has to turn you down. Then you know one way or the other if it's going to happen or not.
Like I said, I do think he's a bit of a dick for not addressing it. Like, he doesn't have to ask her because he might not want to. Fair enough, but just talk to her. Just don't ignore it. That's just going to make it worse.
Chloe and Mayweather is the Xander of this show. Xander, of course, from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And what I mean by that is that Xander had a crush on Buffy in season 1, and it kind of... I mean, Buffy handles it much better, because it does feel like a natural he has to get over it, and then it slowly kind of goes away because he does get over it.
Yeah.
But Chloe's kind of in the same way where she's got this crush on Clark for the first season, and maybe like some of season 2, and then it just kind of goes away, and it's not really an issue. Future.
It's definitely that early season 2 because I vividly remember the first couple of episodes.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I must have seen them. So
I'm not sure when it goes away.
But I'm pretty sure by the time we get to by the time she finds out for sure she's not into Clark that way anymore.
I don't think so. No.
So I don't know. Um, as for anything else in the episode,
Oh, what was the song at the end? I remember going, oh yeah,
oh, I don't know what the song is, but it had the word kryptonite in it. I noticed that.
yeah. Oh, it's gonna bug me a second.
They actually said the word kryptonite, and I thought that's a bit on the nose there. Having a song literally about Superman in your soundtrack there.
Yeah, there you go. The song's called Superman.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, because it's it's more than a bird, more than a plane, right? That's the main bit that people know.
Really?
Yeah. That's the chorusy bit.
Oh, is that Axis of Awesome thing based on that song then? I
Yeah,
just
that's it. It's in that. You're right. Yeah.
I thought that was just their own little thing because their thing is I'm more than a bird, I'm more than a plane, I'm a bird plane, I'm a mother effing
That
bird
last
plane.
bit's their own edition.
Yeah, I thought that was a completely original thing though. I didn't realize that was based on a song that had the
No,
same.
that's this song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does it end with then? What is it usually? I'm more than a bird, I'm more than a plane.
I'm more than some pretty face beside a train, and it's not easy to be me.
That's boring.
I prefer the Acts of Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a bird plane. I'm a mother effing bird plane. I like that version.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Because I thought the whole point of the four chords thing is they got to the end and then the last song was theirs. I thought that was the joke.
Parts of it are theirs, definitely at the end, because I can visualize some of it.
Oh sure, but I don't know. I thought the whole thing was theirs though at the end, that last bit. But okay, fair enough.
No, that's this song.
Fair enough.
They got one last example in there.
Fair enough. I just didn't recognise it. That's fine. That's fine. If you don't know what we're talking about, Google Axis of Awesome four chord song, and basically they point out how so many songs have the same four chords, and they go through a lot of them whilst strumming the same chords. It's a fun watch. It's a fun little.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Smallville, I guess. I have nothing else to add. There was literally no Pete in this episode, by the way.
No, it doesn't show up.
It's not even like he's there in a scene like he usually is, having nothing to do. He's just not in there. I mean,
he's still getting paid, so good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I love that at one point Chloe's telling the kid about this. Centuries ago, this kid was lost, this Duke, and they kept finding him, trying to find him, and like.
It was the kid that was in France, and no one knew who he was. So all these people came to.
That's right. It's hundreds of parents came thinking it may be their missing kid,
and they thought maybe it was the son of this Duke that was missing.
Yes, and he said, "Oh, so how did it end? Did they find him?" And she gets kind of awkward, and she's like, "Oh yes, they found him and lived happily ever after." He's like, "Why did you just tell me they get killed?" Now all I could think was like, "No, just be honest, say no, they didn't." But keep in mind, this was before we had phones and the internet and all these other things.
I'd appreciate way more if that had been foreshadowing and the kid got killed.
Oh yeah, that'd have been good actually. Yeah, kill the kid at the end.
That would have been a great twist for the episode.
That's too dark for Smallville. Smallville doesn't go there.
No, I know, but just if only, right?
I will say this: that damn breakfast scene made me want pancakes and bacon. Though I'll say that much.
Yeah, maybe pretty hungry too.
Yeah. Keep your scrambled eggs to yourself. I hate egg. But...
Oh no, love some eggs. Prefer fried personally, but
I don't care what form they come in. Eggs are eggs. Well, that'll take us on to Young Justice Season 2, Episodes 12 and 13. They are called True Colours and The Fix. So, the first one, the Reach have teamed up with Lex Luthor to make a solution to world hunger. Namely a concoction, a drink called Reach.
Yes. With a fantastic advert with a great little jingle song.
That comes in the next episode, but that's.
Just while we're on it, that thing's so catchy.
So we send in a team of Tim, as in Robin, the original Arsenal.
Yes. Arsenal. The other one's Red Arrow.
That's right. What did I call him when I was watching the episode? I thought, that's got a ring to it. Oh, Real Roy. The Real Roy.
Yeah,
there you go. Blue Beetle and Impulse get sent in to try and investigate and see what's going on, and they end up encountering Black Beetle, and a big fight happens and chaos. But shock twist, the Green Beetle shows up, who's a Martian in a beetle suit, who's good because the Martian powers were able to override like any like control the Beetle was trying to take. So he shows up to help, and they have a big fight with Black Beetle with the Green Martian, and it was pretty solid. It was fun, good stuff going on.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like that the plan goes to shit because Arsenal can't help but blowing stuff up. Because it's a bit on the edge.
A bit on the edge, and Tim covers for him because Nightwing asks later, like, did everything go okay? And he's like, well, didn't things go exactly to plan? Because, and then he kind of pauses and says, well, Arsenal's rough around the edges. Let's just say that.
Do you know what I think it is? I think he realizes if he blames Arsenal, then it looks bad on him as a leader. So now it's like, well, it's your responsibility to control your team, right?
Yeah. But you got a sample. Although we do find out from Lex that there's even more devious things going on. That they're not, because that's the thing. It ends with we don't get this in the next episode. This is a tease for the future. But it ends with Lex saying, "Hey, let's build a team of our own with the other teams we've kidnapped."
And he's quite happy that they've got a sample.
Yes. So that's very suspicious. And what else they're up to?
It is, yeah.
But the action was fun. A lot of Impulse and Blue Beetle stuff.
Lots of fun little bits of banter between them.
Yeah, because the episode started actually. The Atom and Bumblebee were trying to remove the Scarab by getting into his body and trying to
zapping it off from the inside.
Yeah, like on the molecular level, they're just making it unbond. But it has enough defenses; they have to like run and get out as quickly as they can. So that was the gist of the episode. And there's honestly the most exciting thing for this episode though, and this one pales a little bit in comparison to the next one because the next one is really good. But there was a tease in this one that sets up the next one, which is they've got Simon in to try and fix Aqualad's mind, but he's going to be in his head looking around as he does it.
I think the phrase they use is, he'll know everything about him. He'll know, him better than his father will.
Yeah, and of course Artemis is standing there just thinking, "Oh, great! Yes, that's fantastic. That's just great news."
Well, no, we don't get her reaction to the next episode.
Oh, do we not?
Because I want to talk about that moment when we get there in a minute. Because it's fantastic.
Well, we're basically moving on because I thought that was the most exciting scene in the episode. So I was really glad when the next episode
That's fair. In terms of excitement, I think it was a fun episode still though.
Sure.
I think Blue Beetle and Impulse playing off each other. Going into the stealth mode and stuff like that. Lots of fun little banter between them.
Try to find the button, not knowing where it is.
Yeah.
No, this is good little moments. But like I said, I think it appeals a little bit because I think the fix was really good because the fix is dealing directly with Aqualad. The fact that Simon might reveal this. Artemis manages to trank him and with really serious stuff that knocks him out. Because that was the other thing actually in the previous episode is that Sportsmaster wants to try and kill Aqualad for what he did to Artemis, thinking that Artemis is dead.
Well, what the thing is it's not just that though, is it? He was like, no, I'm gonna make the offer to kill Aqualad because that's equal. But he knew they'd refuse, so actually he gets to go after Black Manta now.
Oh sure, yeah.
And I think that's what he wanted all along. But it was because that's what he tells Cheshire after. But he had to just go through the formality of declaring against the kids.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's kind of it's one of these murky villain motivations where, it doesn't even feel like he wants it for revenge. It's more that he wants to protect his image. That he didn't if he doesn't do something, or if he takes as a payment, as he says it, he'll look weak because that's he backed down.
It absolutely is that because. She was a hero. They're villains. They respect that. Stuff's gonna happen. But the key thing is that they did it without his permission. Yes.
So there's actually none of him or Cheshire in the second episode, but she knocks out Simon and is like, "Oh, it's Black Manta." Is like, "Oh, something happened. I guess there may be Miss Martian left some mental poison in his head." So
some traps.
Yes. So we're going to have to get Miss Martian herself. It's like, okay, that's fine, but you're taking Deathstroke. Great. Perfect.
Yeah. That's the one thing going because she says perfect out loud, and then because we're getting her in a narration, and she just goes perfect.
Yeah. So she says it sincerely in villain mode, and then says it sarcastically in her head.
Yeah.
Just exacerbated, just like perfect.
That was fun hearing those thoughts because just added some brevity to the opening of the episode, which is quite a dark a bit that we're discussing here. This his mind's completely broken. Here's the villain going to learn everything.
this was a big culminating episode because they go to get Miss Martian. There's a fight, and obviously Miss Martian is like, "Hey Artemis," telepathically is like, "Artemis, that's you in there, right? Like, I learned that from Aqualad." It's like, yeah, but I need to kidnap you, and kind of explains it as she's fighting, like, so make it look good, make it look like you're fighting back. And then she throws a car at her. She's like, "Don't make it look that good."
Yeah. Do you know the thing that worried me as well? Like, it's like, oh, don't hit the amulet.
Yes.
Don't, because that'll smash the illusion, right?
Yeah, and so she does get taken. And Lagan's pissed about this. Superboy and Nightwing show up just a little bit too late.
Deathstroke snaps his leg.
That's right. And then later on, Nightwing actually comes clean in the hospital. He's like, "Okay, guys, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but here's what happened." And Superboy backs him up, but as soon as they get out of the room, away from Lagan, he's like, "Screw you, Dick. Do you know what happened? Miss Martian nearly wiped Aqualad's mind. Like, she might have screwed him up, and this is all because you didn't tell us this. So, okay, I'll back you up in front of Lagan because he's the young guy, and I don't want the entire system to fall apart because they all see you as a weak leader. But
yeah, I like that he respected the system enough to
yes,
right publicly. I'll back you up. I'll be on your side because I don't want to cause any more trouble because they're not in the best places right now. No headquarters. It's kind of a bit of a shambles.
Yeah, Godfrey's on TV. Giving them shit for watchtowers and. It's like, now the Reach are curing world hunger. How about you, Justice League? How did you never think of that?
Yeah, it's great stuff. So I do like that Connor's like, look, I'll have you back for the public perception there, but I'm pretty annoyed at you. That was a pretty
because
shit
I like
move.
this situation in particular. It's okay, so Miss Martian's been taken. They know it's Artemis. They know it's Aqualad, and everything should work out. But what happened to Aqualad is because they kept this secret. Because they didn't fill in the rest of the team, that's why Miss Martian did what she did to Aqualad. And that's why we're in this pickle in the first place. Yeah. So there is guilt there to be had.
I do get why they didn't tell all the younger, newer lot.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I do think the more senior members, McGann and Connor, for example, should have been all in on it.
Yeah. So, of course, they go, and Miss Martian's got this collar on, and they let her telepathy come back up, but all the other powers are still dampened. And she's like, "Hey Artemis, I'm worried that I just can't do this. It's not that I'm going to fight or whatever. I don't know if I can bring his mind back. Yeah. I might have screwed it up too much." So she takes Artemis inside with her, and it's like his mind's like a broken Atlantis where everything's just in ruins and rubble. And
it's a great visual, actually. Just the idea that that's what his mental state is, and Artemis immediately starts drowning.
Yeah, and then Miss Martian's like, no, it's not real. Just remember it's not real and you'll be fine. And then she's like, "Oh, okay, all right, we're fine." Yep. And then they end up fighting Tula. It's not real Tula. It's just Tula in his mind.
It's his defense mechanism.
And they eventually get to him. We don't actually end in this episode. It actually ends in a place where we're still doing this, but she does enough that he's able to say "hello, father" or whatever at the end.
Yeah, because Manta walks in and I was like, "Oh, I feel like I've been stood here for hours." He's like, "You have 6 hours. You haven't moved or said a word."
Yeah. And he's like, "Okay, you're making progress, so I will not kill you." But then he takes Artemis out. It says "Okay, when she's done, we're going to kill her," and that's kind of the big dun 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 sort of ending of the episode. So it's good stuff. It's also worth mentioning they're actually trying to test if they can trust the Green Beetle. So they do a little psychic test with Miss Martian, and that's at the start of the episode. And then later on, Blue Beetle gets him to try and manipulate the Scarab with his powers to see if he can.
Yeah. Still a bit sketchy on the guy because they trust him because of what McGann says, but he offers she won't probe because she's still horrified by what she did. He just goes, "Here, I'll offer everything, and then you don't need to." Yeah, seems suspicious, right?
That does seem important, and Jaime's all like, "Hey, it's under control. There's no talking anymore. I've got complete control of the Scarab." I'm like, "Okay, you don't. This is going to come back to bite you." And even Impulse, I think, is a little too quick to just be like, "Oh, this is cool. Yeah, wait to crash the mode." Like he's all for it.
Dick keeps testing him every so often. It's like, just throws in another thing.
Well, because Dick's smart enough. Dick's smart enough to keep questioning. He's not ready to trust him quite yet.
Yeah, no, he knows what he's doing. He's been around the block a few times.
But we got Green Beetle. So,
speaking of that, it made me laugh as well. When they were undercover in the last episode at the Lex Reach plant, Tim was wearing the sunglasses in the same way that Dick always used to. Clearly, Batman's told them nope, keep them on.
Because they're part of a tour at first in the civvies, and then they wait in the bathroom until everything shuts down for the night, and then they come out in their clothes. Yeah. So, no, it was a solid 2 episodes. I mean, the first one was solid, but I think the fix outdoes it in a lot of ways because the actual emotional payoff of what Miss Martian did, try to fix her mistake, the others finding out about it, fighting with Artemis when they're just kind of pretending but having to make it look good, like all that stuff was just really good stuff that was paying off a lot of build up this season. So I think it's hard for True Colors to compare to it just in a one-to-one fight.
It's unfair because True Colors, it's not a bad episode. It's still pretty good.
Yes.
It's enjoyable. But then, the fix, it's a cut above. It's one of the better episodes of the season.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. So, that's Young Justice, which does bring an end to the reviews this week, which does bring an end to the show. Obviously, if we have a lot of new episodes this week from the new shows, we'll pick our favourite of the week, but we don't have that quite yet. So, this is just it. This is us done. So, yeah. Maybe we should ask for questions or something. Maybe we could answer a question or two at the end of the show.
Yeah, could do for the next few weeks.
About DC TV shows, I don't know if they have questions about.
We've still got a couple of months of off season, right?
Yeah, it's not until October, and Connor's going on vacation right as the shows start, giving us a really awkward recording schedule for the first couple of weeks.
I'd just like to. This is the point where I throw the girlfriend under the bus and say she booked it all. I had no knowledge. She just went, "We're going this day," and I went, "Okay."
You should have came out and said you've got an appointment because you may have cancer that week, and then she'll just back right down.
I mean, sure, but I wouldn't mind going on holiday.
I'm just saying, go on holiday a week earlier. Actually, no, don't. That'll interfere with the Better Call Saul finale. To be fair, it's actually not that bad because he leaves around the same time we normally record. So we're going to do just the two because at that point it's only Flash and Black Lightning that have came back. So we're going to do an episode that's shorter with just those two reviews before he leaves, and then when he comes back a week later, the next episode will just be like a day later.
Slightly later. Yeah.
But it won't affect it too much, like because the worry is that we'd have like a double week at one point. We would have to do like 2 weeks worth.
It's because I'm away Thursday to Thursday, and we usually record this on a Thursday evening, so we can kind of just sneak it in a little bit early.
We can sneak in a shorter episode with just the two new things on the Wednesday, I think, and then we'll come back maybe the Friday afterwards to do the following week of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just, I don't know why I'm telling you that just now because it's another month and a half away.
It's just because we only just noticed this week when we were scheduling, so it's new information to us basically.
Yeah, so we just planned that this week, but so yeah, that is an end to television from the multiverse for this week. This has been episode 43, I think, if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah, so we're getting up there.
Getting up there. I mean, I know obviously we're getting close towards a year because that'll be when the season starts again, right?
Yeah, which interestingly means it'll be around episode 52 when the episodes start, the new ones.
It might be. It depends how close to the weeks it falls to last year.
Well, they're not spread out this year, so one of them are bound to.
So one of them's bound to be 52, yeah.
Unless we hit 52 the week before the first week starts and stuff.
It's also possible.
Which is possible.
It depends if this first week back with just Flash and Black Lightning.
Is that earlier?
If that's a week earlier than it was last year, then that'll be 52.
Yeah, but we've missed a week.
Oh, you're right. We have, haven't we?
I think we've missed 2 weeks in all. We took one intentional week off, and then there's another week we had to delay a week. So we should be in the middle of the new stuff when we hit 52.
Look at it now. I think 52. Assuming I'm counting right, will be that week of the Flash and Black Lightning. That short episode will be 52.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. That's the end of the show. That's been TV for the Multiverse. If you want to support the channel and the show and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. Over there you can support us for as little as $1, which is worth more than watching like 50 ads on YouTube for the month. But that said, if you can't do that, don't feel bad. Just watch the ads on YouTube. Turn your ad block off and let the ads play because that does support us, as does liking and commenting and subscribing. All that stuff does help. Otherwise, get us on Twitter at @mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to get us a DC Comics Twitter specifically, which is more to do with the comics than it is the TV shows, but there's that DC Comics podcast as well, which is more for comics from the multiverse, which is always worth mentioning. I don't do this at the end of every episode, I really should, but Comics from the Multiverse is our actual DC Comics podcast, which me, Connor and Matt talk about the newest DC Comics every week and discuss them. We're over 100 episodes in that now. That's pretty popular, so you check it out. So But that is us. That is us. That is Television the Multiverse, episode 43.
Yes.
And that is us done. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching superhero TV shows and all that nonsense. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.